Macy can hear me. Helen, are you able to hear me now? Stephen says, hello, you're fine. Hello, Miss Melissa. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully we can get Helen, and we are recording it, so if we need to send this out, we can certainly do that. It looks like a majority of you are able to hear me, so we'll just move on with the show and go from there. So, like I was saying, Peppershock Media has been around for over 13 years now, and we just started off with just my husband and I, Drew, and have grown over the last few years and have added art department, video production department, social media, content, blogging, all kinds of fun things that we get to either act as an outsourced marketing department for a lot of our clients, or we do some one-off projects, or we have some ongoing clients. So we're always trying to stay fresh in what we're doing for our clients. So every year I do these marketing trends and insights and predictions for the new year to keep us fresh, but also to share that knowledge with all of you. So something I thought that was interesting, we'll just get right into this. The future is new. Is it theoretically possible to create consciousness in software that is comparable or better to our human capacities? So what we're talking about is basically software that can think even better than what we can, and where the code becomes aware of itself. If you ask futurist Ray Kurzweil, the answer is a definitive yes. This is precisely what Google has actually hired him to do. So I wanted to share the fact that our coding and our expertise in the world is becoming so advanced that where our computers are becoming self-aware. It's a blast from the past, but now into the future, right? So some of the trends that we're going to see more and more is we're focusing on our customer experience, keeping our customers involved and engaged with our brands. So top-notch user experience is really a great way to keep customers involved and engaged in your brand. So what we mean by that is when you can create a brand experience with the customers that you are interacting with, or maybe it's if you're a nonprofit, it's the people, the donors, the people or the volunteers that you're working with, all of those people that are surrounding your brand. We want to continue to increase that customer experience, and so focusing on the customer and their experience, or the donor or the investor or whomever the case might be that's a stakeholder in your business. We're seeing more and more people focusing on that experience with them. And it's really a comprehensive process. Anywhere and everywhere that customers can interact with your business, the experience really needs to be consistent and positive. And so we're starting to see more and more ways for people to engage and involve their brand. Something else that we're seeing is that YPers, that's young professionals, for those of you that don't know, in our digital world, in our age, they're starting to work remote. So YPers go remote, yo. And so in order to attract and retain and gain the YPers, we have to embrace this remote workforce. Young professionals prefer flexibility to compensation. But what this does from a marketing perspective is that mobile tech and bandwidth and all of these digital transformations that are being supported by telecommuting capabilities is really a great way for mobile advertising to kick in, because we're always on our phones, we're always doing something in a mobile environment. So even though they might be working remotely or off-site, doesn't always mean that they're working from home. It means that they're working out and about and doing different things that will allow them the flexibilities to do that. So what that means from a marketing perspective is that people are no longer really tied to a desktop. And so utilizing the ability to have multiple different platforms is definitely a trend that is becoming more and more prominent. And if we're wanting to attract the younger workforce, the young professionals who have a vibrant, different capabilities than some of maybe our, little bit older generations that are working, that are maturing out and becoming retired. There's a big gap in between. So thinking about how we want to attract and retain the young professionals into our workplaces, into how we're going to sustain and grow our businesses, because we want to engage and involve the next generation, which, by the way, millennials don't necessarily like to be called millennials, but Gen Y, Gen X, Gen Z, my 9 and 11-year-old, Gen Z is really the next one up, right? And so working with them and understanding, how to communicate with them is really a big trend that's happening. A lot of soft skill presentations are happening with this generation. I think that there's more and more opportunities to engage with our younger generations, who will then be the next of our leaders. It'll be the next generation who will have the discretionary income to purchase. So you gotta get them young while you can and start them in on your brand, in on your nonprofit, in on everything that you're wanting them to be a part of. Definitely not a target that you want to miss out on. So some other trends, chatbots, or a chatterbot, also known as a talkbot, chatbot, a bot, a chatterbox, basically artificial conversational entities, computer programs that conducts conversations via auditory or textual methods. So these are programs that are being designed to really convincingly simulate how a human would behave as a conversational partner. So thinking about, what's happening in the advancements of technology and coding and programming, and like Siri can talk to you and have conversations with you. More and more of these chat bots are infiltrating our marketing systems, but what can that mean as far as the new trends of what and how could that benefit the different businesses that are out there? What could you do to use a chatbot in your business or your organization? It's something that I'm starting to see a lot more of when you get those automated calls, or when you get Series or those types of Hey Google and Alexa programs that are able to really come out and be a part of our lives, right? I just want to check in. Are we all able to hear? We're all good now? Okay. So anyway, the chatbots are changing the landscape of the future of marketing. Just thinking about how we're going to use these and how they can talk and speak and even record messages for you. Something else that's really becoming more and more prevalent as people are wanting to make sure that they're getting a return on their marketing dollars and getting a return on their investments. So ROMI, return on marketing investments, right? So really utilizing analytics and more analytics, and then how you can deep dive into those analytics and using the big data so that you can drive your decisions. Utilizing dashboards so you can keep track of the different efforts that you're doing, all of the different marketing efforts that you're taking. Everything from how many networking events you might attend, or how many calls you make to, how many billboards you might have out there if you're still doing billboard advertising. Just really being able to track all those KPIs or key performance indicators, right? Everything from the Google Analytics that you might have, or even different types of analytics on your website, to conversion tracking. We're really seeing a big trend in making data-driven decisions. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. And if you're not using any type of dashboard or way to, even if it's just a spreadsheet, a Google spreadsheet, keeping track of all of your marketing efforts and how you can understand the investment that you put into those marketing efforts, and then tracking how did people hear about us, or how many phone calls did we receive from a specific ad that we had a specific phone number or a specific URL. There's so many different ways that people are now using big data to really drive their decisions, and people are capturing information through forms and online. And if you sign in with Facebook, then all of those apps that are using Facebook as a login can now suddenly have access to your information and how you behave as a consumer. From a marketing perspective, that's great because now we can really drill down and make sure that our messages are getting to the right people at the right time. So thinking about all of the data that you have access to. And using that in a hyper-connected campaign where all of these different types of campaigns are coming together and you utilize them to the best ability through connecting your email and your social media, whether you're using paid advertising or owned media or earned marketing strategies, so meaning where you put articles out and it's earned media because then people share it because it's content that's really interesting or something that they want more of, so then there's earned media, among others. There's lots of different ways to connect your campaigns, but again, going back to the big data and understanding and tracking everything that you're doing so that you can really drill down and understand what's working and what's not working. All of these, and incorporating all of the tech to implement and support it, we're seeing a big trend in people subscribing to a lot of different types of programs that can give you different ways to track everything. So you have to be careful because some are better than others, but we're certainly seeing a big increase with our clients on utilizing different tools. And then if they're not, then we can certainly recommend what we can use and what we've learned, what works pretty well and what's not necessarily working the best. But thinking about the different ways that you can connect all of those campaigns together. So it's not that one type of campaign is out there on its own, but then reinforcing and re-enhancing all of the different types of things that you can do to help support that entire marketing campaign and effort that you're putting together. And now we're seeing a big trend in, the big saying is, oh, it's just nothing personal. Well, truth be told, it's everything personal. Personalization of everything, grabbing attention with your own name recognition. Your name is familiar to you. So if you see something that is with your name on it, look, we've got a few names here. We've got Macy and Helen and Brooke and Cindy and Stephen and Dan, all of your names. You recognize it and you're going to pay attention just a little bit more because you've got your name on there. And so you'll start to see a bigger trend in customized data where it's automated, where your name will be filled in, or if it's a direct mail piece, you might see your name on it. We even just did a video project for Southern Utah University where we created a customized video for each person that's going to attend or potentially attend the university, and we filled in every person that they sent that videos. There's a program, an app that we use that you can fill in their name, and so when they get this video, it actually has their name in the video. So we created it where it had a mocked up diploma with their name on it because they're being accepted into their school, and look at how great it would be to have their name on this particular customized diploma, and it's actually the spelling of their name and how it has a first last name, everything on it, so then you could see and visualize yourself going to the university. So it's really kind of an interesting, fun tool that we can use to customize everything, and it can be automated, so then we can plug in the information and then replace the name of the diploma with somebody else's name, and we are having customized information, and maybe there's a particular student that wants to go into the nursing program. Well, we're going to show that particular student with their customized name. We even put their name on the pizza box that was delivered, to the fact that the testimonials that the student will see is actually testimonials of graduates from the university that happened to be in that particular program. It was really kind of fun. We also they also have an aviation program, so we got to fly in the helicopters and do some testimonials with that, and that was really a good way to really customize the personalization of that marketing effort. Anyway, so these are some other things that we're really starting to see a big trend on. Even just that slight moment of seeing your name can really be something that will help stick you out of the crowd when you're in your marketing efforts. So another thing, connected devices on demand in the billions now. The Internet of Things is really taking over the world, and we're hearing more and more every day that all of the connected devices are driving data decisions. We're making them exponentially with all the data and all of the information that's at our fingertips, and easily to go through and data mine anything that we really want anymore. You just have to pay for it, and the more filters you put on, the more you pay, but the more targeted we can really get down into who we're after when we're target marketing. We're really just getting closer and closer to our customers in a more meaningful and relevant way because we're getting messages that's particular to them specifically. If we want to target specific people at a company and only at that company, we can do that. If we want to target people within a certain IP address, we can do that. It's pretty crazy what we're capable of doing now from a marketing perspective. But really being able to, even serve up ads within a certain radius of your restaurant or your retail shop, or, with all of the snowpocalypse going on here in Nampa, Idaho, there's certain things where it would have been great to serve up a message to say, hey, we have ice melt over here, where the entire city is sold out except one location, just for an example. But really, we can now serve up ads in pretty much any location that has an internet connection. So thinking about how you can customize those messages and where they can be customized, and if they're really relevant and meaningful, and timeliness too is a big factor there. Another thing that we're really seeing is interactive content. Things like the apps that ask you, what city should I live in, based on your personality profile. Every time you do one of those types of tests, you can get more and more information from a marketing perspective about the types of people that you're wanting to send your ads to. And then, the career types that you should do, just ways to get readers to actively participate instead of passively consume your information. We're seeing a lot more interactive content. Things that can be included are surveys and polls and infographics and contests. And I pulled up an infographic here that I thought was quite interesting and relevant to our topic today. The top 7 topics mentioned in the 151 marketing trends and predictions post-reviewed, these topics were mentioned the most. So number of mentions, 133 mentions of video, 113 mentions of content, 113 mentions of data, 83 mentions of mobile, 81 mentions of paid promotion, 81 of automation, and 13 of e-commerce. And by the way, we want to give credit to Matt Mansfield, who made that infographic that we utilized here. Always give credit where credit is due. That's another key thing, that when you are utilizing content, you always want to give credit where credit is due when you're doing interactive content as well. And of course, that's something that we've been doing a lot with some of our clients, where we get to engage in contesting online. We can capture email addresses and do some more data mining as a result. Or just simply gain followership, or whether it be on Instagram or Facebook or any of the social media tools out there. So another trend that we're seeing quite a bit of is, of course, videos, but virtual reality and augmented reality. It's all the rage. I know that my 11-year-old was ecstatic when Santa brought him the VR goggles. And I know that we have quite a few people that are really starting to pick up and create content for virtual reality and augmented reality. We even have one of our graphic designers that's in school learning more about all of those programs, and they're offering it at the university here. So it's a fascinating field. I'm learning more and more as she learns as well, and how we're putting these things together, and how we can monetize it, and the stories that are being told, and the gaming that's happening, the apps that can be created. More and more, it seems like apps are being more feasible for people to be able to utilize and create. I know we've got several requests for us to be able to work on some things like this. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time to mix video and graphics and 3D animation and all kinds of fun things and storytelling in a different way. But yeah, really the virtual reality devices from the likes of Oculus and Microsoft and Sony, they've really created a lot of new opportunities for immersive experiences, meaning, when you put them on, you're in a whole new world. It's just you get to watch and see how things are going, and it kind of can enlighten you in different ways. And I know that the former founder and CEO of bodybuilding.com, he has created a new company, and it's all about doing workouts and fitness through this virtual reality setup. And so I'll be excited to see how that works out. They're testing them all out now, and how it's going to grow and go. So new things are happening. Sometimes trends can be just that, trends, but I really do think it's around here to stay for quite a while. People are, just like video games, you can use these and do all kinds of fun things. So thinking about how that could be incorporated into your world, if you're at a trade show or if you're wanting to engage your customers in some way, how could you use something like this? And thinking that would be exciting for me to even answer and figure out for some of our clients. So something that we keep thinking, how could we use this, and what could we use it, and what value could we get out of it? What's the return on our investment? But not just any video, though. It's really got to be done right, or not at all. You got to think about the messaging and the movement and the music, and all of these virtual reality videos. What is it that they can do, and the games that you can play? And considering the success of games like Pokemon Go, I know my 9-year-old really loves it. And what to expect with the virtual augmented reality and taking us into the future. Brands that fail to incorporate visuals and video will really be left by the wayside. And thinking about how can we incorporate these into our marketing plans and strategies. The Pokemon Go app is kind of a wake-up call to businesses that really haven't evaluated the potential of AR and VR yet. Pokemon Go is just a simple game that can be played, but you get Pokestops, and you can go to different businesses and do different things and have different offers and that kind of thing there for Pokemon Go players. But there's other games too, not just Pokemon Go. There's other games that have spurred up as a result of this. But that's just one example that most people know about, and that's Brittany, our intern there, with our VR goggles that we have here at the office. Anyway, some other things to consider when we're talking about video. Really, it has grown exponentially in mobile video, especially. Marketers who use video grow revenue 49% faster than non-video users. And really, it's about engaging and attracting attention, right? And utilizing video, it helps to do that when you have a static page with just text on it versus incorporating video or visuals into your website or into your feed or whatever it is that you're doing. Chances are more people are going to look at what you have to offer. Another thing that has, one of my predictions is that more and more we're going to be creating videos that are more audio agnostic, meaning that we're producing videos that could be utilized with audio or without. And so audio agnostic videos can be used at trade shows. They can be used at in the lobby of your reception. It can be used on your Facebook feed, because oftentimes people are looking at Facebook when they can't have audio use. And so what we've really come, in one of our clients, the crazycouponlady.com, we've created these kind of like BuzzFeed videos that you can see the text, but you don't necessarily have to have the audio on it. And it's becoming more and more of a trend for us to do that. And even more, I keep really thinking about mobile first and in an audio agnostic environment. And then we produce with audio after the fact, or then we produce for when we have a desktop computer or browser. But really, we're starting off just thinking about how is this going to be seen on a mobile device, first and foremost. which is really kind of a new, I mean, it's been that way, it's ever evolving, but I'm really starting to see more and more of that. And so when we sit down with our clients, it's one thing that we think about is, okay, first of all, most people are using their devices, their mobile devices. So yeah, fourth quarter last year, 2015, was the first time that mobile video views exceeded desktop views. So that was, now 2 years ago, right? And so thinking about, well, I guess it would have been a year and a month ago that it really exceeded it. And now my prediction for this next year is that it's going to grow exponentially, but also thinking about a mobile device and when people can't hear the audio. So yeah, that's kind of a big one there. Some more on that is that 100 million hours of video per day are watched on Facebook. Now, my assumption is that a lot of those hours are spent without the audio. So thinking about how we would produce specifically for campaigns on Facebook. Videos rated at least 4 out of 5 stars, the videos that are rated at least 4 out of 5 stars had more than twice the average buy rate of videos rated 3 stars or less. So really what that means is people who rated those videos 4 out of 5 stars, they watched them more. They had a better rate, ad rate. So when people are putting those ads together, thinking about what that means, making them relevant, what's going to make it where people want to actually rate it a 4 out of 5 star versus a 3 star or less. Really, it's about the content and how well your content is put together. And that's what I was saying before. It's about the message and the quality and the things that you want to come across, but it has to be relevant and meaningful. Marketers who use video receive 41% more web traffic from search than non-users. So again, using video, you're going to increase your web traffic search from non-users. So one thing that we really learned this last year, and we're going to really start to see a lot more of, is that I am predicting that we're going to be doing, first and foremost, thinking about what videos we can put on people's websites first, and then everything else is based on after that, the video. So when we are talking about marketing on your business and thinking about what kinds of videos we want, we're seeing more of the customer reviews and testimonials, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But anyway, let me just take a pause. Are there any questions coming up so far? Oh, looks like George has given us a link to an infographic, or Melissa gave us a link to the infographic that's a little more about utilizing video on Facebook as well. Yes, and something else in relationship to video on YouTube, we've discovered ways to, because Google owns YouTube, when we're trying to do search engine optimization, sometimes on websites, it's a little bit harder and more competitive depending on what type of industry you're in. But if we do YouTube videos and optimize those videos and utilize our skills that we've learned over the couple years here to actually put metadata inside those videos, we're seeing that those are actually getting served up higher than traditional text websites. So your YouTube video is a great way to sometimes be able to outrank some of the website, because Google wants to serve up video. And so if you've got video on YouTube and we can take and optimize it and use the metadata and use the annotated links where there are actual links right inside your video that link back to your website to a particular page so that you can convert and track that conversion, track that link back to your website, we are seeing a really big increase in when we do those videos. We can do them in multiple different ways and have multiple different types of metadata and keywords in them that and slightly different for each of them for a different audience. We can also use those videos for video pre-rolls that get to play before the main content of what people really want to see. And so utilizing YouTube is another way that can help increase your web traffic in search engines than what non-users will do. So another big trend that's happening here these days. Okay, so another thing that we're seeing is personalized social media messaging. We really have seen a big trend to not just blast out generic content, we've got to personalize it. And we do manage a few of our clients across the country, their social media pages, and we work with them closely in approving content and everything that we help do. But some things that we've really had some great traction on are, obviously food is good, but when we can engage people in conversation and get them to post or comment or share, and then they are rewarded for a chance to win something. These have been really successful for us. You want to do it moderately. You don't want to just make every one of them that way, because then it's not going to produce good results for you, because then people will just come to expect it. But the thing that you can do is incorporate and sprinkle these into your social media strategy on your pages. And ideally, it's there to help engage and get people to like your page, and when they share it, then other people will like it and share it too. And then we can, moderate the comments, but then also have more followers on our page. And making it social media friendly, of course, everything that we're doing, we're wanting to make it personalized. So tagging people that you can that like your page. You can tag people that like your page, or companies. You can tag other companies on your page. You can reply, which is very important. If somebody asks you a question, then ideally you need to respond in a timely manner. And then review and post about other people. We've seen lots of engagement when we are posting about our staff or our employees or community efforts or anything that we're doing that helps show and share our pages in a good light. And people will engage with those types of posts. If it's personable, if there's actually a person involved on social media, then we've seen a lot more engagement with that type of thing. Same with Twitter and Instagram. If we can utilize different types of tools to get people engaging with us, then it becomes more meaningful. And then when we do sprinkle in not blatant sales messages, but when we can sprinkle in just subtle messages that can remind people, like United Heritage Life Insurance Company that we manage their pages for, every once in a while we'll put a hint about something that's good about insurance. Not necessarily everybody wants to hear about insurance, but in lifestyle choices and things that we can help get in there occasionally, it's good information. And people, because they're interacting with our page and have been invited to like our page from other things that we're doing that's not a blatant sales tool, then we can help utilize that to build our relationships with them. Okay. So another thing that we're starting to see more and more is we've always said, it's always about the right timing. Well, it's real time versus the right time. Now it's all about doing things at the right time, not just in real time, but at the right time. So what I mean by real time versus right time, if you can do things in the moment, so that's what Instagram is all about. It's in the instant, right? It's happening at that moment. If you can interact and engage within that moment, or at an event that that's coming up, or anything like that, it's about real time versus just the right time. So we used to think so much more about, what time of day should we post and get the most interaction and those types of things. But really, it's more about, because now we get notifications when certain people post, so it doesn't necessarily matter about the right time. It's just happening. If you can do it in the moment, it's going to be more, more conducive to getting more traction and more results. So that's what it is. Okay. Digital transformation. Let's see. What I'm talking about here is it's the way of the world now. So kind of it was back when we had rotary dial-up phones that transformed into cell phones, that trans into smartphones, and back when we had fax machines that turned into scanners, and now you can just take a picture of your paper and send it from your phone. What I'm talking about here is that we're starting to see more and more of this digital transformation. So another good example is when a major medical hospital transformed all of their medical records into digital files, right? So the only way that this is not going to work if something happens, is if we run out of power and internet, then we actually have to talk to each other. But through digital transformation, there's more opportunities than ever before, as far as being able to not necessarily infiltrate information that shouldn't be, because although that is always a concern in the digital transformation world. But what I'm saying is that when people are online more often, when they're on their computers more now, those are the opportunities that you have as a marketer or as a branding expert, or somebody that's trying to reach somebody in a different way. You can do that online a lot more. So you've got more opportunities than ever before through this digital transformation. Some other things that we're seeing more of is influencer marketing. People have done this for years with product placement and those types of things. Back in the day when it was on television, sitcoms, you would see a Pepsi can, Chandler from Friends would be drinking it, or whatever the case might be. But now it's really transformed into online recommendations from others. People will trust recommendations that come from others. And, when people can give LinkedIn recommendations or Yelp reviews or Google reviews or testimonials, or when you can have a blogger write about your product or your service, or an influencer in the nonprofit world where maybe it's a philanthropist saying, yes, I'm going to give to this organization, or maybe it's an investor saying, I'm going to invest in this company and I think you should too, or maybe it makes people want to think about it. There's all kinds of new ways to do that, whether it's crowdfunding or fundable, where you have to be a qualified investor to be able to even be on the website. But then you can have access to these companies that are looking for people to invest in them. But it's having that recommendation from other people that they trust. More and more of that is really starting to occur, and I see it where it's product endorsement, but it's also where they're writing reviews online, or they're doing videos online, where they're subscribing to people like Nitro Circus. We met the guy that created that when we were in Sun Valley a couple years ago, and I've just ever since have followed them, and it's insane how these videos of these people doing crazy things, but how much of a following this Nitro Circus YouTube phenomenon really is. And which, by the way, I don't recommend doing any of those stunts. They're all professionals, I assume. But they have product placements, and they've got people endorsing the different types of things that they're doing. So, like there's a motorcyclist that is really big and does these crazy jumps. Well, if they have a certain part or piece on their bike and then they write about it, it goes crazy. I mean, they have to then, up their production, because this type of piece on his bike is really, maximizing performance. And so when they're being recommended, then it suddenly becomes this big phenomenon that it's product placement, and sales go off the chart. So thinking about who in your industry or who in your world could really endorse you in a meaningful way. Again, not like blatant sales, but actually having product endorsements for your restaurant or your company or your product or your app that you're building, or your whatever the case might be that you're doing. On your website too, having link backs to your website, thinking about who can be somebody that would recommend or refer information or sales to me because I have somebody linking back to my site. And there's a big uptick in affiliate marketing and click-throughs and those types of things. But The other thing too is, since we're talking a lot about video and how much that's increasing ongoing, I think there are testimonials that can be done the right way, not necessarily cheesy and canned, but really candid testimonials where people are talking about your product or service or your experience. Can really be a big win. And some of the videos that we were doing, I was talking about earlier, the crazy coupon lady, when we talk about their big deal is couponing, right? And that's their whole story, is how they got started is during the downturn of the economy, they were couponing like crazy, and then they ended up on Oprah and all these shows, and now their site is just huge. And some of the videos on there, like when we have testimonials of women and men too, actually, who have followed their kind of recipe for success when it comes to couponing, and they do these testimonials, and then they've got links back to their website. It's really kind of interesting, because then the people that are doing these testimonials help share out the message as well, and so it's sort of a reciprocating, wonderful way to get your message out there. And anyway, so those are some more examples that we can send out. Some of these examples too, when we get these out, when we're all done here. Another thing too is LinkedIn recommendations. There's just a nice way to do that. And there's this new one called Alignable, fairly new, Alignable, that I keep getting requests and people wanting to meet up in those types of things. So I'm looking into that one as more as a trending new popular website, Alignable. Okay. Some other things that we're really seeing, I mentioned earlier about automating and tracking and utilizing some KPIs, key performance indicators. There's so many out there where we're really, lots of our clients have different ones that they're using. So we've been able to be fortunate enough to kind of go through the different ones that are out there, and customer relationship management tools on steroids, where we're getting these marketing automation. But again, remember, personalization is key too. So you have to be able to automate your marketing, but with personalization and customization. So you have to, it's not one of those things where you can set it and forget it, as much as people would like to say that or see that. But I think that people can utilize it to their advantage, but making sure that they're still responding and replying and tagging and those types of things. But some that we've come across is like Salesforce. I mean, that's, most people know about Salesforce. It's a CRM, but it helps monitor social media. And then Zoho, which is relatively reasonably priced. Zoho is. It's kind of utilizing business intelligence and CRM, customer relationship management. And of course, there's just so many of them out there. Oracle, a client of ours, they have lots of different products that are out there for bigger companies, although they do have a couple of options for small business as well. There's just lots of different tools and apps and applications and things that are out there. So thinking about how you could utilize some of these things into your business and incorporate it into your website, into your social media, how you can utilize those tools and automation. Those are some things that can really, really be a big deal. Marketing ROI. So after you go through all of the different types of things that are happening now, the trends and some of the insights that I've given you and some of my predictions on what's going to happen, thinking about, okay, well, now what? All I can really encourage you to do is plan, and then take action. Thinking about a couple of things that you might do. I don't recommend you do everything all at once, because it's probably going to be overwhelming to start. But if you could just do one thing, tweak it, do it again, measure it, and see if you want to do it again after that, if it's going to be something that is going to be successful for you. Define, before you do take action, define what those KPIs are going to be to measure. What does it mean to have a successful marketing effort? everything from your branding efforts to anything that you've seen here. What does it mean if you're going to implement some sort of marketing automation tool? What does it mean if it's successful to you? Is it the number of conversions? Is it the number of click-throughs that you get through? Is it the number of phone calls that come? Is it the number of appointments that happen? Is it the number of people who like your page? Number of people who commented? What are those KPIs that you want to track and measure? And when you do that, think of 3 different points: before you start, during, and after. And then think about, do I want to do this again? Is it going to be something that's going to be beneficial for me in a long, on an ongoing basis? Is it a one-time effort? Is it something to kickstart or jumpstart what it is that you want to accomplish? And thinking about, think with the end in mind. What are the results that I want to grow and go? So the results are really kind of the idea here. It's all of the different campaign elements that you can do, all of the where they can all align and come together. What are the results that you want? Is it an increase in revenue? Is it increase in donors or increase in investors in your company? Is it awareness factors? Is it increasing public sentiment about your company or your organization? Is it a number of different types of ideas of things that you can track? So what I can say is that the best thing that you can do is, how does it all affect your bottom line? And with that, I wanted to leave a little time for questions, but before I do that, I have a couple of things that I wanted to share with you. As a result, if there's some things that you want help with in getting your marketing going, we can help and act as an ongoing marketing department for you, or just do some one-off things. But what I wanted to do, especially for my webinar listeners and some people that we associate with, we created a marketing jumpstart program for the first quarter, and we're going to do that at 50% off our price for the first 3 months. And what this does, it allows you to, if you've especially never worked with an agency before, we're an agency, but we're also the creative implementers from the strategic standpoint. So what we want to do with helping you in your marketing efforts is create the strategy and the plan and how you want to incorporate some of the new trends, but also maybe identify the things that have really been working well for you. And we want to work with you and help you do that. So some things that we're doing with that, we can look at your core messaging, coming up with an editorial calendar. Maybe these things are things that you need to do, and then just want to have some consulting on the side for us to help you with. But we can help you with that. We can look at your directory profiles, your online reputation, and see how that's going. Utilize some of the experience and expertise that we've had over the years, and apply that. But then also the new stuff that's happening too. And utilize some of the tools. If you don't have a marketing automation tool, we do, that you can use. So you can think about contacting us for what you can do there. So the other thing that I wanted to let you know about is that we have committed in 2017 to do these Lunch and Learn webinars on the second Thursdays of every month from noon to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And I am hoping that you would like to join us again and learn more. We will have the topic out for the next webinar, but it really has a lot to do with your target audience and how to reach them best, and utilizing everything that we do every day for our clients. But one thing I would like to do is open it up for questions. We have about 10 minutes, and if there's other questions that you have, please feel free to put your questions in the chat box. And I'm looking now. It looks like there's questions about virtual realities. Oh, and Macy said that Unbound and Meridian, part of the library, Meridian, Idaho, has free resources for building and testing virtual reality ideas. That's really cool. And then we've got some other questions too. Can we share some links to successful YouTube videos that we're talking about? You bet. the one I was saying about the crazy coupon lady, and it's crazy with a K, by the way, crazycouponlady.com. A lot of the videos that are on there, the ones that are really well produced, we did. So there's some examples on her site. They also have a YouTube channel that we help maintain. The crazy coupon lady, I think Melissa's going to help do that there and put that up there for us, thecrazycouponlady.com. And another question is that we will send the presentation through your email as well. It should have recorded. We'll have an unpublished YouTube channel, so please don't share the link to anyone else unless you are within your office. That's fine with me. If you're in your office, that's great. But we're going to keep it unpublished because the value of it is there. And another question is, with all of the different choices, how does a business create a marketing budget? Good question, Stephen. So when we sit down and go through a strategy session, one of the things that we actually did in our last workshop is a sticky note throwdown. We thought of every possible thing that we do in marketing efforts. And we wrote down all the sticky notes, one per sticky note, as fast as we could, everything that we did. And then we went through and categorized what should we stop, start, and keep doing, and why, and what lessons have we learned. And we do that process, and then as a result of that interactive process, we come up with, okay, here's some things that we think we do not need to do anymore because they're not successful, or whatever reason. Why are we not doing these anymore? We come up with that, and then we say, okay, here's the things that we need to keep doing that really do work well. And then we come up with what we want to start doing. And maybe you've come up with some ideas here with this webinar of new trends of things that you could start doing. Crazy with a K. Crazy coupon lady with a K. Sorry, I was just helping Melissa here. So if you think about all the things that you should stop, start, and keep doing, and then really making sure that your whole entire team, or if you're a team of one, everyone is understanding and in alignment with what it is that you want to do. So creating the marketing budget is really a process that you go through as we go through discovery with your company and thinking about all the things that we want. So is it the target market? Is it going to, do we have multiple target markets? Is there a primary or a tertiary, a third market that we want to go after? And thinking about all those things that we can do. Then from that point, we say, okay, well, what are the KPIs that we want to measure? As a result, what are we going to get as a return on our investment in these marketing efforts and our strategy and our plan, and then implementation. And then once we start to implement, sometimes we can pivot, because sometimes what we thought and what we felt and what our insights were telling us aren't always accurate. We can try some things and give it some time to try it to make sure it works, or tweak it and do it again. But if it's not working and it's something that we just need to pivot out and take a completely different direction, then we can do that too. With the understanding that marketing is part science, part intuition, part luck, part watching the trends and the insights and the indicators. But really, it's a matter of understanding and sticking to the plan, but knowing when you need to pivot. What other questions do we have here? Has there been any full VR commercials so that the person can see the exact customer experience? So the closest thing that I can say, if you don't have the VR goggles that you can see, is when people are doing these 360 environment videos where you can see up, you can see down, and you move your phone, and the gyroscope in your phone can kind of give you that feeling of where you're able to see everything all around you. That's the closest thing that you'll see when you don't have the VR goggles. And there are specific VR videos that you can use when you have the goggles. But otherwise, it's seeing the 360 degree video. And so a lot of real estate companies are using them for some of the high-end homes to sell them. It's really kind of cool, because then you can kind of just take a virtual tour throughout the home and see up and down and all around. So that's one kind of big example that I could tell you. If you go to YouTube and you just search virtual reality videos, there's hundreds of video examples on there. But you know, some of the local ones that we've had some we've got to participate in have been the real estate videos. And then, you know, people use them. There's a national what's it called? National Geographic, where you can go, like, you're in the safari and you can see the animals all around you, and you've seen these videos. My son subscribes to that channel with his VR goggles. Okay. All right. Is there any other questions that we have for us? Let's see.
That's it.
Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, so we're about 3 minutes to 1. I'm hoping that you've gotten some value out of this. And to stay true to my own testaments here, I would love it if you did find some value, if you would be willing to give us a review or give us some words that you would like to be quoted on our website, because we will use that to promote these again. You know, I encourage feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day, out of your lunch hour to join us. And I think that I enjoyed doing this, and it's always good for me because I always get the latest and greatest in information, and love to share that with you. So if you want to continue to have us do this again, or if there's particular topics that you'd like for me to cover, please do send us your input. I think Melissa was going to have a poll with information, and so it'll come to you at the end. And you can fill out that as well. But other than that, I think, without further ado, I think we will give you an extra 1 minute to eat your lunch if you haven't already. All right. Thanks so much for joining us, and save the date for the next second Thursday at noon, and you can join me then as well. All right.